building the backbone of a regionally rooted travel powerhouse. Welcome to Breaking Down Barriers, where we hear from the builders and makers and optimizers in the MENA region. Today, you want to tune into this episode because we have Qais, who is the Chief Digital and Technology Officer of Al-Musafer, the leading travel brand in Saudi Arabia. We have over 2 decades of experience of building and scaling digital platforms across high-growth industries. Qais brings a unique blend of product vision, technical depth, and strategic foresight. At Almosafer, he leads end-to-end digital transformation across consumer, corporate, and government segments, shaping how millions of travelers book, plan, and experience their journeys. He's recognized for building scalable platforms, data-driven personalization engines, and a modular ecosystems that power customer-centric innovation at scale. His leadership has helped Almosafer at the forefront of travel and tech in the Middle East, making him one of the region's most influential voices in the intersection of travel, data, and technology. This episode is a must-listen for anyone that's building digital products, scaling technology teams, or driving innovation across complex industries. Welcome, Qais.
Thank you, man. Nice to be here.
Great. Hopefully you don't disagree with any of that. All sounds positive to me.
If you say so, I don't know. Let's put it all into test.
Yeah. Well, let's get straight to it then. So let's start from the beginning. What first drew you into the world of digital and technology?
I think since I was young, I just loved playing with computers. And that was the only thing available to me to make something out of. I started programming very early in my life. And I have this uncle who used to buy and sell old computers. So I learned about the motherboards and the RAMs and very, very early in life. So I think it's just a coincidence. I cannot come until you hear a very inspirational story. I learned about it by coincidence very young and it drew my attention. And as I grew, I wanted really to focus on computer engineering. After I finished my high school, that was my focus. And I went and studied computer engineering in one of the best universities in Palestine. I'm from Palestine. It's called Birzeit. And while I was at university, I started working with a couple of friends in the industry to build one of the first startups in Palestine. And I think there I started my journey and I learned very, very, very early in my career to fail. So I can tell you openly that I failed miserably before even I finish my computer engineering degree and studies. And I get the chance to work with amazing people at that time. One of them right now, he's a senior director in MENA in the Silicon Valley. That it's not only about the technology, it's about the customer. If you put the customer first and you find the right solution to build this technology for this customer, that's what might make you unique. That's what might give you a fighting chance. And from there, we built multiple startups. All of them failed. And lucky enough, we started working, me and a couple of friends, with a company in Canada called telco, which was the digital arm for the second largest operator in Canada, TELUS. And we could build a technology center for TELUS in Palestine. And it grew massively. Like we started with 2. And then I think before I left Palestine, it reached up to 70. And at that time, I decided to move to UAE.
Nice, thank you. I mean, obviously, it shows that you found that passion for technology and customer experience very early on, which is obviously, we'll get to that point later on in the episode about how you've managed to kind of engineer that to success as well. Talk to me about the failures then, because I think a lot of people, especially early on in their career, and now you're a lot wiser, a lot more experienced, that it isn't the be and end all to build that company here and now and for it to be successful. You go on that journey and that transition and you take that learning with you, which then leads to sort of future success and growth. So
yeah. I think you touched point on a very, very important topic. And funny enough, I mentioned that I truly failed massively in the beginning. I'll tell you just 2 simple stories. The first startup, it was called Timeville. It's a social network. It was a long time ago at the early stages of Facebook. I don't know, Like everyone now is jumping into AI, everyone wants to jump in social networks. And we want to build a social network called Timeville, which stands for time travel, allowing you to travel between time and send messages in the future, etc. The idea was extremely nice for us. And we spent 9 months building it. Guess what? In the 9 months, we never spoke to any customer. None. It's all our ideas being cooked in a cold office in the corner of the universe. And we did not even, it's all our ideas. Let's build this. And we go and build it. We were really good in building, but this was the first time that I learned that anyone can build. Solutions are a lot, but finding the right problems is the complex part of the journey. The second experience is one of the startups we've built. What was the name? I cannot remember the name of it, but it was an exact idea of Siri right now. Of course, not to the level of complexity and advanced of Siri. But we spoke to customers, and we know what is the business problem is. And the customer problems, what they are looking for it. But the other mistake that we've done in this one, we never went MVP. We kept building. Okay, let's just build this one. Just before we release, let's build this one. Let's build this one. Guess what? Siri went live and got adopted by the iOS team much before we released. We did not iterate. We kept working. Yeah, now we learned from our first mistake and we spoke to customers, but we just never went live.
And do you see that still today, do you think, with maybe people that you may know within your network, outside of your network, two common problems without talking to the customer and without going live from the MVP as well?
The biggest challenge that I see and honestly, even at the scale of Al-Musafer, where we believe that we are a product-led organization and we put our customer first, sometimes we ourselves get into the same trap, thinking of the solutions. And unfortunately, what I see across multiple places and companies and teams is we always jump to solutions. Customer is not always first, and the business is not always first. And you see this trend more now in AI because it's a new technology. Okay, how can I shove AI in whatever I'm doing? What I learned during this journey is you always need to start with the customer. And it is simple to be said, by the way. It's very easy to say that we are a customer-obsessed company or we are a customer-first company. But it is not a constant state. I cannot come and claim that we are a customer-obsessed company as Al-Musafer, but I can tell you we are a company that always trying to be a customer-obsessed. So every time we divert away from that cause, we see a lot of leaders stepping up. Guys, what problem we are trying to solve? I think the most important question that as a product lead or as a technology lead, you always can ask your stakeholders, why? And keep repeating this question until it's annoying enough, until you really pinpoint what is the problem statement. The minute that you define any problem statement, there will be a lot of solutions for it. Delivery is not a problem. And you are hearing this from a technologist. I am an engineer. You will always find the technical solution to solve a problem. And especially on the level of industries we are dealing with, we are not trying to send a ship to the moon. So we are trying to solve customer problems. And in a way that works for our business. So you always need to remind yourself, do not fall into the trap of solution. And it's a mindset shift. There is no process that you can put in place. Okay, follow this process and you will be a product-led organization. The agile methodologies and the sprints and what we do using Spotify model and safe model, whatever model you want to use. These are tools will help you achieve your mindset. If your mindset is a project delivery and you use agile, trust me, your sprint will be a project management situation. So it all starts with the mindset. And it needs to be from the top leaders, even before it goes to the CBO or the CTO. It needs to start from the CTO, the CEO. The CEO enables the organization to think this way. And it challenged the team when they come with a new idea to build. What problem are you trying to solve? What metrics you are trying to change, either for the customer or for the business?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think having that lens, having that mindset, what is the intent behind that particular thing? And I think, like you say, some people jump straight
Yeah.
for the execution or whatever it might be. So what does it mean then, like leading a digital transformation? Quite a cliche word as a whole, but leading a digital transformation at Almosafer, like on a day-to-day basis.
Besides being bold and
Yeah.
white, okay. Um, I think first it's an honor. And I might be just representing an amazing work and an amazing team behind this transformation, definitely not me. I think what does it mean is it means it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of dedication and commitment from every single one in the organization. And it starts with a decision, what kind of a company you want to be. Just a quick review about Al-Musafer. Al-Musafer is the leading travel company in Saudi Arabia. But Al-Musafer is part of a bigger group, Sira Group, previously known as Tayyar Group. Tayyar Group is 45 plus year old company. It's the first travel company in Saudi Arabia, where it started with literally brick and mortar business shops, where your grandfather or my grandfather go and shop for air and hotel, etc. And the business grew massively and the company went public. By 2015, 2016, the CEO then decided that, okay guys, this is great, we are doing great work. What is next? How we want to change the landscape of a Tayyar then to be a digital-led organization. And there was this creation of a small unit called Tajawal. It's a startup owned by a Tayyar. And there the idea started from the online business unit and it started slowly growing. It's been more than 10 years now, 9 years. And I can assure you that the company, 1 year, and if you look at Al-Musafer, the last year, it's not the same now. And if you look at it 3-4 years ago, it's not the same now. And I think what truly tell you about how much this company is actually agile or claiming to be agile, how quick they respond to everything that's going on in the market. And fortunately and unfortunately, we are in the travel sector, which is one of the amazing places to be. It's fun. Travel is fun. Travel is building experiences for your customer. It's about building these relationships, but unfortunately, COVID hit in 2020, and one of the most places where it got really impacted as industries is the travel. We stopped traveling, all of us. And it was a pivotal moment for Al-Musafer is, what do we want to do? We took this time off from the business to focus on how we can reshape our technology and how we can reshape our way of thinking about problems to a different new level, allowed Al-Musafer to be where is it right now. Our biggest initiatives at then happened 2020 and 2021, which is allowing us to have this USP in technology now where we really can compete with Booking.com and big players in Saudi Arabia and the region.
And with that, you talked about the different stages. How do you create that like mindset then, especially from the top down? You've consistently had to change like the right people in the right seats on that bus, on that journey with you as well? Or have you always kind of had that ingrained in the people that you've like, attracted and hired and nurtured over years?
And in every panel conversation that I go to, or a conversation outside, or me and you when we were talking just now outside, I always focus on one thing, and I do believe it's the most important thing for any organization, any team. It's how you build a collaborative working culture and how you create a team that they really care about the organization. How you build a team of missionaries, not mercenaries. And our team has grown with us. I myself have grown in the organization of Al-Musafer, and I can tell you, I by no way was equipped 7-8 years ago to be the Chief Digital and Technology Officer. No way. But I think the learning that you learn through the journey, it's only enabled by one thing, how you build a working culture. And I'll just give you a couple of tips about Al-Musafer working culture.
I was just about to say that. What is
Yeah.
what is the playbook then?
First, it starts by how you bring synergies between the digital, the product team, and the technology team. I have a very close brother, and he used to be our chief product officer. His name is Ronnie. We are still in touch with him. Me and him were co-leading the digital space of Al-Musafer. He was leading the product, which stands for product design, etc., and I was leading the engineering. I started working very closely with Ronnie 2018-ish, somewhere in 2018. Lucky enough, I found a partner that understands the value of culture. And both of us have similar values and understanding of how this place needs to look like. I think the first pillar to build a proper organization is to bridge the gap between your product and engineering, which is one of the things that I do believe a lot of companies face, that it's a blaming culture between product and engineers. They did not give us the right requirement. These guys don't know what they are talking about. The engineers did not release in time. We bridged the gap. And it started between me and him, that we are speaking as one team, as one unit. Because the culture is not driven by HR. The culture always driven by the leaders. And you have to lead by example. That's one. Two, I cannot expect these guys to actually be agile if the system architecture is not meant to be agile. If you have a monolith system and me and you and everyone in the room trying to change in it, we will wait in a sequence train. It will never be agile. So we have put the effort to re-architect our system. At that time, we started our first microservice architecture transformation, which has allowed us, third step, to build actually squads that are actually autonomous. There is no company that you'll have a squad fully autonomous, especially if they want to build something across the board. But they have a certain level of autonomicity that allowing them to deliver for their business while they are collaborating with their different product and business leads. We created what we call the trio: product, design, engineering. 2019, before COVID, we have invested in working with a company in the Silicon Valley. It's called SVBG. And a couple of companies here in Dubai. We brought a very amazing guy. His name is Marty Gagan, and he's the CEO. And I do believe this one was of the pivotal moments in our growth, is to build that mindset, not only with me and Ronnie and some of the leaders, across the whole organization. And we started adapting the more and more the experimentation mindset, the customer first, listen to your customer, understand your customer. And that built the culture of ownership. The problems of the customer is not only the problems of the product team, it's the problem of the iOS engineer, the quality engineer. They start actually participating. Our engineers start participating in customer discovery session and start understanding what is the pain points. And a lot of great ideas came from these sessions. Slowly, we started growing. And one of the fun things that you as a leader always need to realize, you need always to keep a pulse in the organization. And while we're growing, we pivoted from what we supposed to be. We start shifting slowly to, we start leaving our identity as a product-led organization and moving more to a feature factory organization. But once we realize it and the leaders realize it, guys, we are shifting to the wrong direction. You pulled it back. So this is across the overall organization.
Obviously, you operate in a very high-touch industry. How do you strike then the right balance between human and digital experience?
I'll focus a little bit on Al-Musafer consumer travel. Because Al-Musafer, as you mentioned, is a group. We have the consumer travel, which is me and you are using our application, or the corporate government, Mawasim, for our religious travel, and Discover Saudi and distribution. But let's take a step in Al-Musafer consumer travel. Al-Musafer is an omni-channel brand. In Saudi Arabia, we have a lot of branches because there is a lot of our customers in Saudi Arabia like that touch, the human touch. They want to talk to it. They want to talk to, as we call him, a travel advisor, especially for certain kind of persona of travels. The way that I see it, the only way to balance between your digital growth and that personal touch is data. You need to early on invest in collecting every possible data about your customer for you to be able to serve them in the best possible way. And to use this data not only to build AI and to build hyper personalization. That's a really advanced set, because unfortunately sometimes I want that. But don't think about that. Use the data for me as a leader and for every product leader in the organization to understand their customer needs best and to react to it. We are a very operational business. We deal with millions of travelers on a daily basis. If you don't have all the data sets about what is going on in the digital platforms and on the offline platforms, I think you'll be stuck. And look at it. The branches is one side. Web, application, WhatsApp and calls. You need to bring all of these data points, transform it in a way, bring it in a visualized way to our business leaders, to our product leaders and engineers, to make sure that they are able to do the right decisions and the right time. Once you've done all of this, you can invest now, okay, let's try hyper-personalization. And honestly, when we started investing in AI, as an example, we stepped back. Do we have the right data infrastructure to do that? And before we touch any model to try it out, we re-architected our data infrastructure to make sure that it's ready to scale. So, excuse my French, garbage in, garbage out. And I'm not saying we had garbage before, but it was serving our needs for that era. But it will not be enough to serve our needs for the AI era. So we spend enough time re-architecting our data infrastructure to solve for our existing needs as a business and for future scalability of AI.
And were you under pressure there from your perspective, like balancing stakeholders? You know, a lot of it a year ago was the board putting a lot of pressure, or the investors, whatever it may be, on embedding some form of AI due to the bubble and the buzzword. Did you feel under pressure to do that? But you feel that you had the ability to push back and say, well, we're going to do it the right way, and it's all about the building blocks?
Yeah. I think in Al-Musafer, we are lucky enough that we have an amazing board and leaders and business stakeholders that we are working with, and we are in constant communication. It goes without saying, everyone wants AI, that's definitely. But I think the way that we looked at AI, the same way that we spoke about it in the beginning, is it's not just a technology, you want to shove it into a solution. The way that we looked at AI, what business problems that we are having in our organization that AI can help us solve for that. And we did not want to go only by randomly testing AI. We're a big organization, you just cannot throw it away. Yalla, everyone build his own model. We want to make sure that we build it safely, securely, and serve the business problem. And by us doing so, actually we unlocked a massive opportunity with AI. And the board and the business stakeholders were aligned. Because there is no value of any technology that you can put in the organization if you are not moving the needle forward. And it does not always need to be more revenue or more profit. Operational efficiency is one of the places where the AI adds a lot to it. How we can make our agents, the one that takes calls or WhatsApp or speaking to customers directly, how can we make their lives much easier? Tap into information about you as a customer much easier and serve you much better and more personalized experience. Instead of the agent spending 10 minutes serving a customer, he can serve it now in 7. So once you understand the technology well and have the right infrastructure to build that technology and build the gap between what is the business needs and what AI can do, that's the actual benefit that you will tap into AI. So that helped us build the business strategy and the AI strategy within the Al-Musafer organization. And I can tell you now, AI is pretty embedded very well in Al-Musafer. Some of it that you might experience it as a customer, and a lot of it, our teams are experiencing it internally. When I say our teams, is not only the digital team, every team within Al-Musafer organization.
We're going to come to a little bit of that later on about the sort of the hyper-personalization and so forth. But are you not worried at all with the rise of AI agents, and in particular that obviously there's a lot of industries, but the travel industry, commerce industry, that can be somewhat built by a very small company using AI end-to-end AI first and just replacing the travel industry?
That's a very nice way of putting it. If you ask me, am I worried about AI? I'll answer you in two aspects. Aspect number one, on a personal level, I am. Honestly, there is a lot of unknown. And we've seen across history that every revolution have a positive side of it and a negative side of it. And what worries me about in the personal level, that in every forum that we speak about AI, we only talk about the potentials. No one is speaking about what we need to do to make this potential safe. I don't know if we will live enough to see these, but hopefully our kids will have. We need to be responsible how we deploy AI so our kids can enjoy the benefits that we spoke about in every stage and panel and interview. That's what worries me on the personal level. On the professional level, I'm truly excited, and I'm not worried about what you mentioned, small companies stepping up and doing. Actually, competition is something really, really healthy in any industry, and especially in the travel industry. The Saudi market, which is where we are focused mainly, is a very huge market and has a lot of potential for a lot of competitors. And competition drive everyone to the edge. So I'm not seeing this as something that worries me. I'm seeing something that, you know what, bring it on.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. Let's learn. Let's be on our edge to innovate. That's very healthy.
And you've worked on major platforms like STC, TV before. What lessons from the media world has shaped your, I suppose, current tech leadership and things you've embraced into the travel world as well?
Scalability. I learned scalability in STC TV and Dawr Plus. Dawr Plus at that point of time was the main place where you can watch the Saudi Football League. And I can tell you, as Arab, we love football. And
who doesn't?
Yeah, I can tell, especially with the Champions League now going on. The challenge that I face in Dawr Plus is when there is a game between Al-Hilal al-Nasr, or for example, or Hilal al-Ahli, which is the top football clubs in Saudi Arabia. 5 minutes before the match, there is 5 million visitors want to watch. And that level of scalability and optimization in the code and on the infrastructure and the architecture, I learned a lot from. And honestly, I don't think I would have even have the opportunity to learn a lot about scalability until I worked in STC and a product like STC TV and Dawr Plus. So definitely scalability. I learned a lot about scalability techniques and how to scale a technology and how to build a very robust architecture is in there from a technology aspect.
Interesting. My first bit of recruitment experience when I came into the industry in around about 2011 was all into the broadcast industry in the UK, like Sky, ITV, Fox News, during that pivotal time around OTT, on demand, and then moving over to mobile first, essentially during the mobile boom.
True.
That's a very exciting time. What does success look like for you then when launching a new digital product?
That's a very nice question. Success can be defined of what problem you are trying to solve. You will not call it a success if you defined a problem and you did not solve it. That's one. So if you want a success in a digital product, define your problem statement, drive from this problem statement what is success metrics mean, and measure them as you go. But the second important thing, which is it's very important to be reiterated and mentioned, there is no value in success that you can achieve if you have a burned ground in your back, if you burned your team, if you were screaming at every single one of them to achieve this product. That's not success. Success meaning that if our problem is to reach that shore, even if we all reach tired there, I'm part of you, tired. I'm not sitting like a captain of the ship, row, and no. So I think I will add to success of sustainable success. How you build a sustainable success. There is no value of building one product really successful. You hit all the metrics. Your customers love it. But you have a team that cannot go to the next match. So if you want to achieve really success, focus on the people. Build the right mindset in the people. Unfortunately, or fortunately for my team, I'm not coding anymore. And I'm not putting user stories for the team. The only product that I can build now is the people and the team. Our job as leaders, our product as leaders, is to build teams and culture capable and empowered enough, allowing them to build and deliver for our customers and business.
Mm-hmm. And is there a particular product that you could draw a reference to that was extremely successful that has then become like the engineered success and playbook for you moving forward to adopt into other kind of products and services?
We have a lot, honestly, that I can mention in Al-Musafer. I'll mention two, just for reference. One of them, I think, describes the working culture really well. When we started adapting the product discovery mindset and build an opportunity solution tree and how you can drive from problem, and when we started early, putting our engineers to speak with customers directly, what we saw is our iOS engineers went to a customer interview. They were talking to our customers, and they noticed that in general, the Arabic families are big. And when we travel like, it's not like solo travelers. 3, 4, 5 kids. And our engineers know, and our product team noticed that the customer is spending too much time putting his passport details. It's a lot of details. Trust me, this is one of the things that I hate while I want to plan for my travel, or I used to hate before we solve this problem. But think about it. The product himself or the designers, he would love to solve this problem, but he might not have the technical mindset to solve it. But because he have an engineer with him, sitting all of them looking at the customer behavior, when they went back to their whiteboarding, they figured out solution. And that was the first time we released passport scanner in Al-Musafer. Our customers, they don't need to input their details, and it stores safely, securely, so the customer don't need to ever do this hassle. And that one impacted our step conversion rate on that page, which is, we call it the packs details page, by 25%. I know it sounds minor. This is not a project or a massive project, but this was a learning of the power of collaboration and the power of listening to your customer and product discovery. And this is one of them. The second one of them, which is I'm truly proud of, and I think we as an organization, we are very proud of, a big project we have in Al-Musafer called Enigma. Enigma is our hotel connectivity platforms. A lot of OTAs, online travel agencies out there, are using third-party hotel connectivity technology, where you talk to a system and it aggregates a lot of hotels for you, do the room mapping, hotel mapping, and retain your results. In 2020, when COVID hit, and kudos to our leadership, we were not selling at that time. And we saw an opportunity to focus in technical innovation. And I still remember it in March, end of March 2020, we've made a decision to invest in engineering and to hire engineers in the middle of COVID to build Enigma. And connected the dots backward. It was the best decision we ever made for 2 reasons. We have a competitive edge for any local player in the market because not everyone have the engineering capability to build their hotel connectivity engine. Our hotel connectivity engine allowed us to build a new business unit called online distribution, where we become a technology provider to other OTAs, and it massively give us scale, give us competitive edge for our customers, where we can provide them with better hotel content, room content, better pricing, better margins even for our business, and allow us to scale beyond what we could have done scale. So the learning for us from that is know what is your core business and focus on innovating there. And sometimes you need to take a leap of faith. The leap of faith that our CEO at that time, Mr. Abdullah Dawood, he took in us to invest in such a very difficult time, paid off very early at the end of 2021, early 2022, when COVID symptoms start going away and people start traveling back again.
High risk and high reward.
True.
What about a project then that's almost failed, and it seems like there's been a lot of success, but I'm sure there has been some failures as well, and what you learned from
A
that,
lot of from a lot of it, a lot of it. One thing that comes in my mind is uh, when we were adapting our flights experience, there was a lot of debate about we need to have a side-by-side view, a side-by-side view. And because of there was a lot of push around that, we went and built it. We did not have yet the mindset to think why we need it. We did not have the mindset or the tools to use to have a logical argument. It makes sense at that time. This company is doing it, X company is doing it, and we don't have the right tools to have a conversation. You only default back as, let me do it. We did it. We spent maybe 2-3 months changing our experience and failed miserably. It failed miserably. And there, I think it was one of the hard learning for us is ask why. What is the problem statement that you are trying to solve? Another example, but it was caught like pre-failure, is there is this big talk in travel always about dynamic packages. Dynamic packages. Let's build dynamic packages. And we were this close to go and actually invest and build it. But when we as a leadership, we sat together and we challenged each other in one meeting for 1.5 hours, we stepped back. Instead of us going and investing and building technology. You know, there is a lot of, this is the big failures that I'm telling you about. But then, after all of this, what we learn is fail fast. I can tell you, we are a team that runs, I cannot even count how many experiments we run in a production. And out of them, 30%, 40% goes success, and the other 60 goes for a failure. I cannot even recall all of them because the team is empowered to experiment. They have an idea, they have a problem statement, they have multiple solutions, they don't know what is right. They go quick. They test it first, they test the prototypes with our customers. They select 2-3 prototypes, they go multivariant testing, and from there, it goes to production. And it takes 1 week to decide which variant to win. So failure is part of everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, which is, I will not be even informed on. The team takes this decision. This variant failed, let's roll it off.
What's the thing that maybe keeps you up at night then as a leader and amongst your other peers, the exec, for future success of the business? Because you're a business that's been established for such a long time, great history as you mentioned. So I'm just wondering, what are those threats? What are those things that you fear?
So beside my kid kicking me always in my tummy while I'm trying to sleep, keeps me up.
Same.
Yeah. There is a lot of things that I think me personally as a leader, I'm always thinking of. It's not only in our business. I think one of the most important aspects that how we keep innovation running. The most thing that makes me worried is me or us as a company or team enter the comfort zone or feel, okay, we are the leading in Saudi Arabia. That's great. I'm so grateful for that. But that shall be a driving fuel, not a way for you to sit down. Yeah, we are leading, let's chill. No. So I think the most important thing that, I don't want to call it keep me up at night, but always on how we stay in our toes in the right way. How we keep the innovation on the running. That's no way that you're always 100% innovating. There is a lot of operation in between. There is a lot of projects or products that we need to build that have to do with regulation. It's not innovation. That's one of the things. The second thing is how you keep getting coached and keep learning and growing, and how you keep coaching your team. Because I do believe this is, if not the most important pillar, this is one of the most important pillars. So honestly, on a personal level, I keep learning and growing, trying to understand these leaders have grown and they are doing an amazing job. So whatever coaching that I was doing last year definitely is not going to work this year. So what other methods that I can learn and grow them? because all of us is learning in the job. Not here coming claiming I'm learning as well as they are. So my job is to use this learning to help push the team forward. And the most important thing, how you stay vigilant for all of these fast changes. You don't want to be left out of the curve, especially of AI. And I'm a technologist, so my eyes are always open for whatever is going on. So I want to make sure that we are early adapters of this technology in the right place.
And what role then, if we move to sort of Saudi Arabia, what role do you see Saudi Arabia and the wider MENA region playing in the global tech ecosystem?
I think, honestly, I'm truly optimistic about the future of the MENA region and Saudi Arabia in specific for driving tech innovation for a lot of things. One, and most importantly, Saudi, and in general, let's look just at least at the GCC. We are a young countries. The average age of inside Saudi Arabia is, if I'm not mistaken, between 25 and 28. And there is a lot of focus on education from the government, from the culture of the people, which is the power of any country and its capability to change is mainly human capital. The second important part, of course, financial capital, which is lucky enough, the GCC is a wealthy countries. And combining these two with an amazing vision from the leaders, either the leaders of UAE and the leaders of Saudi with the vision of 2030, this is an amazing recipe for success for the country. So I'm truly optimistic about where Saudi is going to be in 2030, 2040, and the role that it will play in the global market when it comes to AI and driving innovation.
And what advice would you have then to upcoming CTOs, ascending talent, the next generation of talent, I always say as well, that are trying to scale fast in a competitive market like the Middle East, or executives that are going to come into the region, and obviously with different nuances and challenges that come with that?
For younger generations, I have a message to them. You have been empowered with technologies that at our age was not available to us. I'm being honest. The capabilities of AI right now, if we have it like at our times when we were studying or we were at our early ages, it could have been a massive difference. Utilize it to learn. Please don't utilize it to make decisions on your behalf. If you are a CTO or a leader, I'm expecting from you to take decisions. And my personal advice that I keep telling to myself and my team and to the young generation that I will give, and I think it's unfortunately a little bit, there is no much talk about it, invest in your emotional intelligence.
If we look at current industry trends, obviously AI being one of them, there's 5 things that I'm going to ask you and I'd like to get your take on. So hyper-personalization through AI and travel booking, the rise of super app thinking, so travel, experiences and payments all under one roof, NDC and modern airline retail and integration, cloud native architecture and API first development, and platform consolidation and the ecosystem building within regional technology.
Okay. If you are really thinking that I'm that smart, I will remember the whole question. I think you need to think again. So let's take them one by one.
Let's start with the first one, and hyper-personalization through AI in travel booking.
Hyper-personalization is one of the trending terminologies that you will hear a lot. We are working very deeply in enabling hyper-personalization in Al-Musafer. I can tell you we have done a lot of experiments and we have live products in hyper-personalization already live. Either it comes from our hotel ranking, the way that we are reviewing, the way that we are showing you the hotel review summary, the way that we are categorizing them. And we are seeing a very positive impact on our customers and on our business. I'm a big believer that hyper-personalization can thrive and impact on the business because you have to look at the trend in the way that we are consuming information right now. Before, and Ricky, we might meet in a year or so and we might call Google before. Before, me and you used to go to Google, write a query, go search, rate multiple articles, and then make a decision. Now, you are not expecting that. Now you are typing a prompt and you are expecting that to be directly in front of you. All the answers summarized. The same goes across all the environment, all the platforms. The customers are expecting more relevant information to them to come quickly. So my advice is play with hyper-personalization quickly and fix your data so you can hyper-personalize. Don't hyper-personalize without investing in your data collection and transformation infrastructure.
Nice.
So that was the first one. What was the second?
It was the rise of the super app thinking. So travel, experiences, and payments all under one roof.
I'm not a big fan of super apps. You cannot do trillion things at once and you expect to be great in every single one of them unless you have a full ecosystem. If it's my choice, I will not do a super app to do everything.
Yeah.
Because the customer also, I'm just a big believer that you cannot be perfect in everything. As simple as this. Yeah, I can really be the best in travel, but I cannot be the best in payment. I just can't. That's not my bread and butter. So personally, if you ask me, I'm not a big fan of super apps.
NDC and modern airline retail integration.
NDC is the minute that I entered I've been in the travel industry relatively newer to a lot of my previous colleagues. I've been in the travel 8 years. And since I entered, everyone was talking about NDC. But I can tell you, NDC now is gonna be a big driver in the way that we are consuming the airline content. We are one of the companies that definitely invested in, and we have our own NDC integration as well. And I do believe that NDC will change the game in the way that it unbundles the fares to the customer, allowing them to select and pick between what kind of fare they want, what kind of add-ons they want. So it's a new way that will allow us as an agent and the customer and the airline a different level of experience that brings more flexibility, content, and a better pricing.
Nice. Cloud native architecture and API first development.
Cloud native is something really great and add a lot of value. Our technology strategy and Al-Musafer, we have an amazing strategic partnership with AWS, but I will never put everything of Al-Musafer as a cloud native for one reason. It is very important to have the flexibility to select the right technology solution for the right problem. So we have a lot of cloud native APIs and a cloud native tools where unlimited scalability is needed, but for most of the, I don't want to call them day-to-day use, normal technology needs, you can solve them with a really well-architected solutions. Now, the cloud native can bring a very amazing competitive edge for startups, and I highly advise them to use it when they are building their POCs and their MVPs. MVP is not about building an amazing architecture. It's about testing the market. So use cloud native technologies. It will give you the speed for you to test, and then you can decide what is the best technology that you want to use.
And what about platform consolidation and ecosystem building within regional technology?
I'm a very big fan of building. Just to answer you, Al-Musafer, officially the name is called Travel Platform. This is how we call it.
Yep.
The leading travel platform. The point here is we always build everything from platform mindset, because when you build it from platform mindset, remember, we are serving multiple businesses here. We are not only consumer business. I cannot build a flight integration for our consumer business and a flight integration for our B2B business. So this does not work in this way.
So when we start to think about generative AI and voice-powered travel planning,
yeah,
what is your view on this?
I think it's coming.
Yeah.
I think it's coming. The question is when. People and the customers want more interactive ways of searching. And definitely voice and open text travel planning is coming up, and it will it will change the way that people exploring their trips. That's from, if you look at the travel in general, it's explore, book, just simplified, explore, book, post-book. What you are mentioning, it will really reshift the way that we are exploring travel. But the minute that you want to travel between Dubai to Riyadh, it's a simple decision. You just need to you need to find the right flight. So the best thing that you can provide to your customer there is not a voice, because you cannot tell him, yeah, but no. I think the voice search gonna change the way that we are exploring travel, and it will help us, we as customers now, unlock new destinations we never thought of.
And if we look at it from an ecosystem perspective as well, like you touched on it earlier, but how would you say that you as a business are really going to shape the travel tech narrative from Saudi Arabia to the region as well, especially as we start to think about the overall transformation here?
The way that we are looking into it is not only from a technology space point of view. We are working very closely with the Saudi government to bring more people to visit the kingdom. The kingdom have a lot of history and heritage to offer. And our DMC, Discover Saudi, is working very closely with big players outside to bring more people in.
Quick fire. So I've got some quick fire questions to finish up. So build versus buy, if we think about your tech strategy as well. So we won't be able to go into the detail, but maybe you give your top 3 advice around what to build in-house, what to integrate via third parties, and then how to future-proof that platform.
Definitely. Build your USP. If that's a competitive thing, build it. Buy something that's not in your core business. Do not buy something that it's in your core business. And do not reinvent the wheel, please. There is certain things that we really don't need to reinvent the wheel. I'm a big fan of a hybrid approach when it comes to a technology strategy. Especially when you are adapting something new. You might start with buying, and your business needs takes you to building it as you grow. The last, I think, the way that I will see it, it depends on what stage of the organization you are. If you are early and you don't have a lot of resources and time is crucial, buy. But if you are scaling up at a massive organization, it's all about cost leverage build. And an important thing, at least this is what I believe in, if you are building, don't outsource.
Don't outsource. And how do you navigate growth then while maintaining operational experience?
How you navigate?
One thing, one headline. Yeah, how do you navigate growth while maintaining operational experience?
Alignment and priorities.
If you could go back to your first day as a CTO, what advice would you give yourself?
Understand the business more.
What's one leadership principle you live by and one you had to unlearn?
Being humble, that I live by. Unlearn? I don't have time to think, right? One thing that... Listen more.
Listen more. What's one bold prediction you have for the future of travel tech over the next 5 years?
People will teleport.
What's the legacy you hope to leave in the MENA tech ecosystem?
Amazing team cultures.
Amazing. Great. Thank you for joining Breaking Down Barriers. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Ricky. Thank you. Nice being here, man.
Awesome.